Thank you very much. Ms. Like, how would you respond to the argument that the biggest threat to the integrity of college athletics on the gambling side is from illegal gambling versus legal gambling?
Well, thank you, Senator, for your question. I would argue that when you have illegal gambling, there are certain people that are willing to take on illegal acts. And so the population of people is probably much less than when you legalize it, in the sense that,
Well, it leads to
you
more
know,
gambling, is what you're saying.
yeah, there are more people involved, more people are able to do it, more opportunities, more pressure to do it when it's legalized.
What do you say to that, Mr. Miller?
Well, Senator, I would say that in 2018, in March, prior to the Supreme Court making its decision on invalidation of PASPA, $10 billion was estimated that was bet on March Madness. 97% of that was illegal. So I think that during the period of time and before legalization, illegal betting on sports in college was quite prevalent.
Would you say most of that 97% was office pools?
You know, I tend to not try and be the policeman of office pools, but I do believe...
Here's what I think, just, and I don't mean to be cute here. I think that there is a lot of betting that people in the office will fill out the sheet, but none of us are going to influence the outcome of the game because we're putting 20 bucks in and you may win 200. I'm not saying that's right, but that's a different problem than people are in the business of gaming who really would make it a lot if it went one way or the other. So this demand, I know what you're saying about the demand, but what we're talking about is the ability to affect the integrity of the game from people who are in the business. And I want to join with you, Mr. Miller, of putting illegal gaming sites out of business because the gaming industry is regulated. So
very much so.
So what I want to try to make sure we do here is that betting on college sports has happened for a very long period of time, but it's been done by usually individuals that are not going to affect the outcome of a game or a small group of people. Now that you've got 18 states, I find it odd that New York won't let you bet on schools in New York. Why did they do that?
There are a number of different reasons. You talked to former Governor Chris Christie, and they have similar provision in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And as you all know quite well, the process of legislating can be sausage making.
Right.
Universities in states can often be rather formal.
I'm going to give my own opinion. I think people don't want to do this in their backyard. So here's the problem that I have. Ms. Light, you talked about prop betting. Is that what you call it?
Yes.
So you can bet on whether or not the first play is going to be a run or a pass.
That's correct.
Mr. Miller, can you do that legally?
Not really. I think the Super Bowl is a unique...
I mean on college athletics.
Each state governs...
Would you be willing to say that's a bad practice for college athletics, is to be able to bet on whether it's a pass or a run?
What I would say is that sports books, they want to be able to ensure the integrity of the activity, and that they only want to put a line on something that they believe is not subject to...
I'm just saying that, I don't know, that seems to be almost uncontrollable, and that, I think, was going to ruin the game. You got a bunch of people who are amateur athletes, even with name and likeness. Most of them are not going to make a bunch of money. Just how much money could you make if you're a trainer on the team and you tell somebody first play is going to be a pass? We need to do something about it. I don't know what the right answer is, but Ms. Like, I really do appreciate your summary of the effect on the game. And Mr. Miller, people in your business, they pay taxes, they work hard, nothing against the industry. When I go to Vegas, I always lose, and I'm sure you're glad to see me come. But the bottom line is I do worry about the integrity of the sport. Now, the constitutional argument was that Congress can't direct a state to do something. It can prohibit a state, and they took the legislation we passed as directing states to outlaw gambling versus saying you are prohibited. I think we can fix that problem if we want to go down that road. Ms. Light, I'll give you 30 seconds to make your pitch of why the demand for college betting shouldn't keep us from trying to deal with legal gambling.
Well, I just think that college athletes are distinctly different than when you gamble on professional sports. There's a parallel existence for college athletes. They are students in a classroom, they're on a college campus, and they are athletes on a field or on a court or whatever their field of play is. When you think about auto racing, a car driver, this is their profession. And college student athletes are just uniquely susceptible to financial temptations.
Okay.
I've seen perils of it in college athletics, and I just think adding one more level of temptation or potential threat with the increase on college gambling is unnecessary and not good for the game.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Miller, online gambling, do you have a concern about that in terms of you could get underage people doing it and some pretty unsavory characters?
Well, I certainly think that in and around sports betting, clearly the Wire Act has has jurisdiction over that. And while
do you like the changes we've made in the Wire Act?
Interestingly enough, and I believe I've shared this with you, it was my first day on the job as the new CEO of the American Gaming Association. So it made quite an impact. As you may know, that we have members that have different opinions as it relates to online banked casino types.
Yeah.
But as it relates to sports betting, as the states began to develop their legislative proposals, they recognized the important oversight and role that the Wire Act played. And so mobile betting, to the degree that it exists in states, is intrastate and uses geofencing to ensure that it complies with that.
Thank you.